Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to Planet Alien here on YouTube. Hello, welcome. I am Weird Little Alien, giving you my Ranview of Episode 4 of Cloak and Dagger. Dun 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 dun! Fucking love this show. It's so good. Like, I don't even know, like, I already made a Ranview, but it's like, I don't know how to, like, express, like, I don't know. This show is, like, just so hard to, like, break it down and express everything. Like, I don't know, it's such, like, I'm so enamored in the show that, like, with Riverdale, I get enamored in the show, but at the same time, you know, I'm doing detective work. But with Cloak and Dagger, I'm so enamored in the show that by the time it's over, I'm like, oh, fuck, I need the next episode. Like, what the hell? Like, you know? And it's like, I just am like, there was, like, where do I start? First, let me start with Greg. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Greg. Way to go, writers. You made me fall in love with Greg in just one episode, only to have him killed at the end. And you know who killed him? I guarantee it was a cop. Oh yeah. I know that Roxanne Corp, which is a corrupt fucking company, and the police department, which most of the cops are corrupt, well, you know, I'm going to just say I 100% believe that the person who shot Greg is a cop that works for Roxanne Corp. Because isn't it odd that every time Tyrone, like, magically appears where the corrupt detective Connors is, he appears on the roof of Roxanne Corp, and right across the street, that's where Connor's doing his dirty business. Isn't that odd? Like, that's what I love about Tandy and Tyrone. They think they're connected because of these powers, but it's so much more than that. His brother's death and her dad's death have a lot to do with Roxanne Corp and corrupt cops, and those are two of the same things in my opinion. Because I truly believe, because I'm waiting until next episode when they say, oh, he died in an accidental fire, it was a gas leak. And it's like, no, 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 no. If they actually say that, then I know it was a cop who killed him. Because there's no way, even if his body was burnt, which, I mean, when Tandy went in there, the fire didn't reach to a lot of places. So, I mean, you would still see blood on the window from where he got shot in the freaking head. Not to mention, even if you found his body burnt, you're going to see a bullet hole in his head. Also, when you do an autopsy, you're going to see that he was already dead when the fire started. But you know what? That won't be shown, and that won't be told, because this is the cops, and they're corrupt, and they're going to cover up his death. Because I truly believe, I thought maybe, you know, they're spying on, maybe Roxanne Corp is, like, spying on him, or the cops for Roxanne Corp, who knows? But then I was like, no, because I was thinking, but that's weird, like, because I was thinking, oh, maybe now that Tandy's working with them, they got nervous, and so they were like, we got to put an end to this. But I kind of think they have his office, or they had his office bugged before they, you know, put it up in flames. I think they had his office bugged, and they heard him and Tandy talking, and they heard, like, him even saying, like, yeah, they're still making money from this, this pipeline, this explosion, you know, and she's like, why? And he's like, my guess is it's money, you know, they're money-hungry assholes, basically. And I think that's what it is. I honestly think they bugged his office and were hearing him and Tandy work on this case and heard how determined Greg was, and now Tandy too, and they couldn't have that, so they had to put an end to it right away. Thank God, though. Yeah, because another reason why I don't think they're spying on him and they just have his office bugged is because if they were spying on him, they would have seen, like Tandy seen, where he put the files in that safe behind the closet door. You know, they would have saw it, and they would have known to go there and get the files and burn them, whatever. But since they didn't know that, it makes me think, okay, the office was bugged, which means that, thank God, the files against Roxanne Corp that Greg has been compiling, and now Tandy has been helping him with, is thankfully with Tandy safe, because, amen, hallelujah, like, I just can't believe they killed him. Like, I wasn't expecting that. When I saw Tandy, like, going to Greg and she was looking through the window, like, I was expecting, like, to see, you know, because Tandy's mom had just broken up with him, so I was expecting him to, like, be with, like, his ex-wife, or not his ex-wife, still his wife, but he said they're basically separated. But I was, like, expecting her to, like, see him, like, kissing his wife or something because, like, Tandy's mom broke up with him, so he moved on already. I was expecting, like, she'd see something like that. But then it's like, oh, here comes someone with water, and you're not thinking anything of it. And he's like, oh, yeah, just put it over there. And then, choo! And then it's gasoline, not water. Like, whoop! 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 Like, mind blown. But I can't believe they made me fall in love with him only to have him killed that same episode. Man, I'm really sad. I liked Greg. Damn. Like, O'Reilly says to Tyrone next episode, she's like, leave the detective work to the cops, or cop work to the cops, whatever you want to say, you know. I don't need a hero. And it's like, bitch, your police station, I know you ain't corrupt, but a lot of you are, including the chief of police, your boss. Because as you remember, well, as we remember, you know, he was the one who told Tyrone's parents, oh, well, he didn't get shot. We can't really tell because he was in the water. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. You can't tell that there's 2 bullet wounds in his fucking stomach? Like, I hate corrupt cops. I hate corrupt cops. I hate them. Thank God we have O'Reilly, who's not a corrupt cop, because she's the only cop so far I've seen that isn't corrupt. So far. And I'm all for her being on their side, but no offense, honey, you're going to need a lot more help than just you, because you know how many corrupt cops are in this place? Like, I guarantee the person who shot Fred, oh my God, I always say Fred because I'm thinking Riverdale, but the person who shot Greg, I guarantee is a cop, is definitely a cop. See, the corrupt cops in Roxanne Corp, they mesh together. That's why I find it so interesting that Tyrone always ends up on the roof of Roxanne Corp. But yet, he's there for Connors, and yet he's ending up on the roof of this company that blamed this explosion on Tandy's dad, who just happens to be dead, so he's the scapegoat, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but yet you're still ruining his reputation, like the mother said. She's like, yeah, the money would be great, but it's your father's reputation that we're trying to fix. Because, I mean, it doesn't matter if he's dead or not. Putting that on him, saying this dude caused this explosion, makes people be like, oh, well, then he deserved to die, and makes people hate his family. Just because we haven't seen it yet doesn't mean shit. If people died in that explosion, which I'm guessing they did, by putting that all on him, a dead person, really nice, you're totally destroying his name, and you're totally destroying his family's name, and everything they've built. Like, oh my God, I can't wait for Like, I want to know who's in charge of Roxanne Corp. I know it's going to be some badass dude. Like, oh, maybe it's going to be a girl. Meh, it's a guy. But, like, I want to see who's in charge of Roxanne Corp. Like, I know that Roxanne Corp and the corrupt cops are working together. And it drives me nuts. Oh my God, it drives me so nuts. Like, I just can't believe in one episode they had you fall in love with Greg, because at first you didn't know what his intentions were, and he was drinking and doing drugs, and you were like, oh God, no. But then, this episode, it's like, man, you're falling in love with him, and then it's like, and I think, see, this is something that always pops in my head. It's like, what if Tandy's mom didn't break up with her? What if Tandy's mom didn't break up with him? Maybe he never would have went back to the office. Maybe he never would have been killed. And that's what I always think about. I always think about, what if this would have happened? He might have still been alive. And I know it's a show and it goes how it goes. You know, this is how the story's going. But still, it's like, if only she would have not broken up with him, it might have been different. And also, now, Tandy seeing that, she knows that, I'm sure she has an inkling that they're getting close to something Roxanne Corp doesn't want them to know about. Clearly, if they killed Greg and then put his place up in flames, clearly they knew he was getting close to something, and they wanted to put an end to it quickly. So, thank God Tandy saw it. Tandy has the files. Roxanne Corp, you are going down, down, down. Oh, God. Like, it irritates me. Like, I know that person was a cop. I know she was a cop. Like, but I swear to God, because I feel bad for Tandy's mom, because you can hear her on the phone, like, Tandy was going to tell her, but she heard her on the phone, like, I'm sorry, you know, I miss you. This is my 6th time calling you. You know, I want to work things out, which is heartbreaking because he's dead, which, man, and we saw his hopes. He wanted to marry Tandy's mom, and, man, that is so sad. He was a great guy. We just kind of got off to a rough start with him because we thought, oh, drinking and drugs, you know, but he is a good guy, you know? He wasn't just a cheating asshole. He actually was a good guy. And when we really got to see it, he was killed. But that needed to happen for Tandy to know, like, because I would hope that by seeing that, Tandy would now get the inkling, like, he was getting too close to something and they killed him. So clearly she's going to continue on this thing. And as she continues on, even with Tyrone's help or without, they're going to realize there's a lot more connections between them than these powers that they have now. So yes. Evita also I want to talk about. Okay, I don't trust Evita completely. Now, my girl Nikki said, like, she was saying how, you know, maybe she's always liked him and she doesn't know how to, like, flirt. She comes off kind of like stalkerish, obsessive kind of thing, but she doesn't mean to. And I understand that. But I just don't get why now, you know? Like, I understand the show just started, but it's like, why now does she suddenly like, you know, like, maybe, okay, she could have liked him for many years and now she suddenly got the courage. But I don't know, it's odd timing all of a sudden when, like, I don't know, it's just odd timing why she likes him so much all of a sudden. Like, I know she knows more than she's letting on, and I don't trust her, but because I feel like I'm waiting for her and Tyrone to get closer, only to have her betray him and turn out to be a bad person. But then again, her aunt, I don't think her aunt's a bad person. Like, we saw that she made the 3D thing of Tyrone, 3D figure of Tyrone. And I think because she saw the struggle and she saw what maybe his future held for him, and maybe she put him there on the shelf as a protection, you know, to kind of keep him safe. Because maybe Evita and her family are the protectors of Cloak and Dagger. But yet they don't know about Tandy, or they do maybe. Like, I just think it's very interesting. Yeah, but you know what? It's very interesting that the aunt was making a 3D figure of Tyrone before she even met him. So it's like, clearly she knows something more, you know? I don't know whether, because someone had a theory that maybe Evita's a witch, which is why Tyrone couldn't see her fears, which, yeah, that is true. Like, why can't he see anything of hers? But also, I mean, she was listening in on him when he was doing his confession thing in the room, which I thought was very odd. That's another reason why I find it a little weird, like, her listening in. But, yeah, so, like, I don't know, like, Evita, the bonfire that Evita invites Tyrone to, that he decides to go to, also happens to be the bonfire Tandy decides to go to get her next, you know, con, or next victim, whatever you want to call it, steal someone's wallet, Tyrone's. And isn't it so crazy that of all people, she ran into Tyrone? Like, you know, like, it's more than just a coincidence. It was like the world was, like, pushing them together, even in this way, you know? Which is, yeah, like, oh, God, it's just so weird. Because it's like, it's just crazy how Tyrone goes to this bonfire, which is unlike him, it seems like, from the start of the show. It seems like that's not really his thing. And Tandy happens to also go, because she finds out, and it's like, that's how they meet, and their powers happen, and it's like, it's just so weird how that kind of happened, and everything matched up. But with Evita, like I said, I don't trust her. Like, of course, first off, I don't ship her and Tyrone at all. Like, sorry, I don't. Like, I love Tyrone and Tandy. I ship them, of course. But I'm not even at the point where it's like, oh my God, I'm shipping. Oh my God, ew, Evita and Tyrone. It's not nothing like that. It's just like, I don't trust Evita yet. So I'm like, ooh, Tyrone, keep it in your pants, bro. No. But, yeah, I'm just not for them, you know? I want to, like, I don't know. Evita knows a lot more than she's letting on. Like, I know she does. And it's like, is she a witch? Is she the protector of the Cloak and Dagger? Is she a good person, a bad person? Like, I don't know. What are their motives, you know? What are her aunt's motives? Like, why did she make a 3D figure of Tyrone before she even met him? How did she know what he looked like, you know? Why did she make it to begin with? You know, it's just so many weird things, and I want to know. And her family's into that voodoo kind of stuff. So clearly, they know a lot. And I don't know, I think they're good people, but it's just Evita, for some reason, I just can't trust her yet. I just can't trust her yet. I feel like I'm just waiting for her to turn out to be bad and betray Tyrone. But then you would think that would mean her whole family's bad, which I don't think her aunt is bad, but I don't really know. It's just weird shit, man. Like, I don't know how there's a million different ways to explain why she made a 3D figure and why Evita's so interested in Tyrone. But at the same time, it's also very odd in the sense, because it's like, why now? And why was she making a 3D figure before she even met Tyrone? And why did she put him on the shelf with the other dolls? Like, you know. So Evita, I'm kind of neutral on. I don't know about her yet. Tandy and Tyrone, I love them. I love them so much. Like, man, they had fucking, what I loved about this episode is instead of just having, like, the beginning, the talking scene with them in the church, instead, the writers they had the talking scene in the church, and then they went to other parts of scenes that happened in the episode, and then they went to talking in the church, and then they went to other scenes with Tyrone and Tandy, and then talking in the church, and then Tyrone, and then Tandy, and then talking in the church. I really liked how they went back and forth instead of just staying on the talk. Like, instead of just having them talking in church and then the rest of the show go on, I liked how they kind of split it up between the episode. That's what I liked, honestly. And I'm so happy that Tandy and Tyrone are finally talking and actually, like, you know, like, talking and, you know, figuring this shit out, even though they kind of butted heads towards the end, and she did try to kill herself, which, sorry, honey, you can't die. Like, you have to be alive. Like, that was sad. Like, God, I mean, I couldn't imagine going through what she goes through. And it's like, I don't know, like, God, they're both very complicated. And I just think I mean, it's not even that they're connected with these powers and these storylines, but they're also connected in the sense of who they are inside and their hopes and fears, which also I think is kind of interesting, how she sees hopes and he sees fears. I think that's super cool and interesting how that is like that. But, yeah, I love the talking scene. Like, I love them talking it out. I love that he was telling her about what he had saw, and she finally told him about what she had saw, and they were talking about, did you ever have any other visions with other people? And he was like, yeah, my mom. And, of course, you know, at the end, you know, she was talking about how she wanted to kill herself, you know, and he was like, why would you want to do that? Like, you know, you have so much to live for. Like, that's so stupid, you know, and they're fighting, and, you know, they kind of go their separate ways, but they get to come back together. Like, honey, they cloak and dagger, they come back together. Like, I don't really know what to say about the church scene, because, like, I just love them talking. Like, I was just so happy to finally see them talking about what's going on. You know, finally, she's not running. Finally, he's not just focused on the cop. They're actually talking to each other about what's going on. And I mean, okay, let's not deny the fucking sexual tension and chemistry in that scene when they're like, let's see how close we can get before our powers, like, explode, basically. And, bitch, when she was, like, walking around and he was walking around her and they were looking at each other still in the eyes, I was like, woo, shit. Like, no offense, but come on, you could see the sexual tension in that scene. Like, the chemistry between them two are epic. Which, of course, you know you would expect so, since they are eventually going to get together. Like, I don't think season 1, but eventually. Maybe they'll kiss in season 1, you never know. Although Liam could come back in the picture. Like, I have nothing against Liam, but I don't really care for his character. Like, I'm fine without him, so, yeah. But no, what was I saying? Yeah, so whenever, like, it was so cool, like, she was putting his hand here, and he was putting his hand out, and, like, his stuff was coming out, and hers, the light was coming out, and they go, and they were like, that was awesome, you know, like, I mean, it must have felt amazing. It seemed like it felt amazing. Oh, another thing I really want to point out, oh my god, it's super dark. Okay, I had to turn the light on. Another thing I wanted to point out is when Tyrone, first, I love that his dad, like, I didn't know where his dad was bringing him. I was like, oh shit, is his dad bringing him to the police station? Because, like, he didn't steal anything. Like, dude, don't bring him to the police station. He didn't do anything, like, you know? But, instead he's taking him to this, I don't know what you would call him, this group he used to be a part of, but is no longer, you know, because, you know, he got married, had kids, stuff like that. But what I found so interesting is when he was looking in the closet at all the different pieces that were never finished, were basically garbage, they were never finished, he goes right to this cloak. And I thought, you know, I didn't think of the brother. I thought, of course, that one calls his name because Cloak and Dagger. He's Cloak. I mean, I could just see him wearing that. 110% I could see him wearing it. Like, guarantee he's going to wear it at some point. So, like, I knew why he was called to it, but then to find out that it was actually his brothers, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's more at work here than just their newfound powers, you know? And I think there's so much more to Billy, the brother's story, and so much more to Tandy's father's story. Like, I hope we'll get to see more into their story, because, like, I am curious as to the check that Billy gave Tyrone whenever Tandy was seeing the vision of him young. I am curious as to where these checks were coming from, what the checks, like, why was he given to the younger brother, and, you know, it showed Tyrone as a little kid, you know, with all these checks crying, and Tandy brought that up to him in the church, you know, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, and she was like, maybe you just don't think you deserve anything, you don't feel like you're good enough for anything, you know, but at the same time, it's like clearly his brother had to have given him a check at one point because it was in the vision at the basketball court. And it's like, what if his brother was like working for Connors? Like, I feel like his brother was a good dude, but like, maybe, I don't know, like, oh, I guess he was, you know, he was doing stuff like, you know, this car radio that guy fucking took advantage of them for. So, like, I'm just interested about the checks because Tyrone has, like, no memory of these checks, but clearly he got a check. So, like, I wonder where these checks were coming from, why he was giving them to Tyrone, you know. Like, I hope we get to see more of Billy, like, more into his story a little bit, because I feel like there's more to his story, too, and to Tandy's dad. Because also when you explore, like, the cop killing Billy and Roxanne Court blaming Tandy's dad, you also have to kind of explore them, too, those two, and their lives leading up to this, to everything that happened. Because even though it is Tyrone and Tandy's journey, I also think everyone else involved, it's their journey, too. You know, O'Reilly, you know, is coming to realize that there's a lot of corrupt cops. Connors is coming to realize that someone's after him. I mean, you're just so many things are happening. I mean, Greg was killed, obviously, by a cop for Roxanne Court because he was getting too close, which is only going to make Tandy want to go way more ahead with it, which, yes. I'm so glad they didn't know about the safe. Like, thank God. I would have been so upset. Thank God. That's why they had to have had his office bugged instead of watching him, because they would have saw the safe if they were watching him. But, yeah, I love this show. Like, this show is so good. I just feel like there's so much more that we're gonna, like, there's just so much going on. Like, I don't know, like, this show is just, like, it gets you enamored. You're, like, just enamored by this show and stuff. And then when it ends, it's just like, oh my God, like, I need more. Like, you know, like, I don't know. I love this show. Like, I honestly, I don't know how to put into words, like, how this show is. Like, it's just so good. Like, I cannot stress enough, if you have not seen Cloak and Dagger on Freeform Thursdays at 8, you are missing out. Trust me, you are missing out. Plus, if you love Olivia Holt, which a lot of people I'm sure do, because she is an amazing actress, and I happen to love her as well, then she's in the show. Give her a try. You'll like her character. You'll like Tyrone. I love Tyrone. I love Tandy. Those are my two favies. You know, like, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, I would hope that next episode, of course, Greg's death is brought up. Like, oh my, I'm just waiting for them to say he died from the fire. He died from smoke inhalation. I'm just waiting for them to say it. Oh, there was no bullet hole. Like, oh, I just know it. Like, I mean, we fell in love with, like, I'm sure I'm not the only one who fell in love with Greg this episode, only to have him be killed. Like, like, I felt so bad for him. And, like, Tandy was even saying earlier, it's like, you know, you can't get close to people. And it's like, damn, you really can't. Look, you got close to him, and now, dead. Like, I know it was a cop. Could you imagine next episode when Tyrone's in the police station? Because I'm guessing he is. He is, because at the end of the episode, he was looking for O'Reilly at the police station. So could you imagine he's in the police station and we see this girl who killed Greg, and he has no clue who she is, you know, because he didn't know what happened. But we see her and we automatically are like, oh, that's the girl who killed Greg. Oh, I knew she's a cop. Like, I could just imagine us seeing her as a cop in those clothes. Or maybe when O'Reilly and Tyrone are talking, she comes over and says something to O'Reilly or hands her something, and it just kind of pans to her for a second, and And Tyrone, of course, has no response because he has no clue, you know, who this person is. But we're like, oh my God, that is who killed Greg. I knew it, you know? Like, Cloak and Dagger is so good. Like, I love this. I can't wait for more episodes. I can't wait for more Tandy and Tyrone. I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but I feel like there is more to the Billy storyline, not just Tyrone focused, but Billy focused as well. And of course, I think there is more storyline to Tandy's dad, not just Tandy, but Tandy's dad as well. Like, I don't know. I think we're going to get a little insight into maybe Tandy's dad working at Roxanne Corp and what led up to the explosion. I'm not saying right away. It is only the first season, 4 episodes in. But eventually, I think we'll get to see, you know, kind of in the past, Tandy's dad working for Roxanne Corp, leading up to the explosion maybe. And then we'll also get to see Billy, possibly before, like, that guy ripped them off for the car radio and everything that led up to everything that happened after, where he was shot and killed. Like, there is just so much I can't wait to see. This show is just so good. Like, honestly, it has my mind just kind of clouded with, like, it's just so good. I just can't get enough. Like, it is so fucking good. Like, the cast, they did an epic job on the cast. As much as I hate Detective Connors, which I do, I still have to admit, he's a great guy to be a bad guy. Like, perfect bad guy, in my opinion. I totally see him and think corrupt cop. Before you even know it, I would see him and be like, corrupt cop. Corrupt. Like, oh, I can't wait for next episode. So, yes, I hope you enjoyed my review. Sorry, it's like rambles. But, yeah, if you do not watch the show, you need to, guys. You really, really need to. I'm telling you, give it 1 episode only, if that. And just, if you don't like it after 1 episode, fine. But at least give it 1 episode, and I guarantee you will continue watching. I guarantee it. Like, come on, get on board. This show's rocking. Ooh, I cannot stop it. Yeah, I can't wait for next episode. Da-na-na-na. We better get a season 2. Ba-da-da-da-da. No, seriously, we better get a season 2. Like, hello, renew it already. Like, come on. No, I know. It's only 4 episodes in, but this show is so good, you should be like, I'm getting a season 2 ready already, you know? Like, season 2, here we come. I hope we get a season 2. Oh, God, please. Like, that would suck if we go through a whole first season and then it's like, no, season 2, it's canceled. I would be so sad. Like, and that would be such a disservice to us all, because that is one of the best Marvel shows. It's even better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I used to love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but even I think this is better than that. Like, it's just such a good Marvel movie. And I know when you think Freeform, you think, oh, stupid baby shows for teenagers and shit. But it's not. Like, it's a Marvel show. If you love Marvel, you'll most likely love this show. And it's so interesting. And there's so many pieces that you're trying to put together, but you can't. And there's so many things you can't wrap your head around, and so many coincidences and just things happening that you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's like everyone's connected in some way, somehow, you know? So, yeah, I highly recommend the show, and I hope you enjoyed my review. So, yes, I am gonna go